Hello, and welcome to another session of What the. Today, I'm going to discuss dogmas and what do we refer to as the truth. Well, obviously, I'm in a suit today, so that is purposely done in regards to a explanation of what we may think is dogmatic. Do we automatically give creed to those that are in suits? Obviously, politicians and so on and so forth on TV, they're all in suit and ties, and women, obviously, in I don't know, pantsuits, dress suits, and so on and so forth, and they tend to use words that may be of an extraordinary circumstance, such as elongated terms to equivocate their essence of approach. Well, that being said, I'll keep it simple. I'm just wanting to convey what we know today in regards to how do we approach the truth. Do we approach it with a discernment knowing that it's their truth or the truth we understand, or is it a dogmatic principle that is, well, we know it's not true, but we just accept it as being true? So, I had recently gotten to a conversation regarding the center of the Milky Way. And understandably, do we know what exists there? Well, we have new telescopes and satellites and so on and so forth, science and principles of quantum mechanics and physics and mathematics and so on and so forth. But do we really understand the principles of what the galaxy represents? And the Milky Way galaxy versus the universe in which it is in. Well, I look at, okay, let's see here. It's a spiral, the Milky Way, and it rotates in a circle. So, and there's, you know, billions upon billions of stars in the Milky Way, and they all stick together. Why do they all stick together in this clump of stars that rotates every 230 million years, making a revolution? Well, is it because they're all from the same source? Was it a giant, big, huge star that had a supernova and then it just splattered across the universe? But because of the continuity of the star itself, it still has a magnetic resonating potential in all the particulates that it had supernovaed into. And then knowing that supernova stars expand and detract into a dwarf star of what it once was. And so people misunderstand when you explain to them a red dwarf star. Well, what is a red dwarf star? Is it oxymoronic? No, it's just a dwarf of its former capacity of what it used to be. So, that being said, I hope this suit gives me more credibility in explaining the center of the Milky Way could be a big giant sphere comprised of basically iron. And then that iron has a magnetic potential, and then it's like a super aurora borealis that surrounds that magnetic sphere that exudes all this electricity, and then all the stars around it are getting doses of it as well, but it is basically a macrocosm of the microcosm that exists on Earth with our aurora borealis at the Arctic cap of Earth or whatever, and exists in the northern territories and so on and so forth. So, in my best explanation, that is what I surmise as to be the center of the Milky Way rather than just a black hole. And how does it engulf light? Well, we all know that light bends going around certain stars because of the gravitational pull. So if we know that this supermagnetic sphere is able to pull light, then no light will escape from that magnetic sphere if it has a gravitational pull pulling light toward itself. Just makes sense to me. Anyway, this has been another session of What the